To all the angels in the room, please tell your boss I have a complaint. He's not answering the phone much anymore, so I promise I'll stop cussing. Tell him I'm tired, and tell him my messages are the same from before and after I learned how to write. Where are you? Tell him yes, I'm still angry. Tell him it takes a lot to lift this body off my bed frame so sleepless I'm not on a mattress, I'm just on something keeping me in place from doing something hasty. Like packing my bags again. Like accepting deep kisses from whiskey bottles. Tell him it takes a lot to handle my first world problems of cleaning and bathing and driving and writing and arguing about money and worth. Because this world makes so little of kindness and mirth, the original currencies. Tell him I said, where are you? Tell him I don't care if he finds these questions rude. Tell him I'm tired of being whipped and expected to say thank you. Tell him I'm tired of watching other people be poured into a grinder like so much meat and be expected to be thankful that I'm not them. That I can sit on a concrete perch drinking soda from a can made by a company who likes sugar more than children and say thank you, that I'm not them. Tell him that being a bystanding witness out here comes with tax and we're still not getting paid. Tell him I miss vacations and peace of mind. That I'm sorry I shat on them when he tried to give them to me the last time, but I was too busy being afraid of the past I barely made it through to trust that the present was something safe enough to sit on. To all the angels in the room, tell him I'm tired of laying here because I'm told that not trusting him is bad. Tell him that God helps those who help themselves, yeah, but then he's only going to laugh at me if I make plans. Tell him. Tell him I want to know why I can love if I'm not supposed to love all. Tell him I'd answer if he'd call. Tell him. Tell him I'm waiting. I'm angry and too chicken to hate him. Tell him I just want to know why, that this body does, that this room does. Tell him I want to know. Tell him. Go tell him. Tell him I'm waiting. I used to be a whole other woman before I became a red blip sailing over cities and roads and lost treasures at the bottom of the sea. And when I fell out of the sky, my breath wrapped in vapors of dread, I landed in hard desert song. My accomplishments are banquets for a ghost. I'm hardly here to enjoy them. I'm body, I'm bone, but my thoughts are still night. A red blip sailing an ocean of regret over a long-lost treasure. Once a month, for 2 weeks, the devil knows my rhythm. For 2 weeks he chants to the drum in my chest. Die, die, die. He chants to the portal between my thighs. Die, die, die. He chants through the halls of my mind. Die, die, die. The devil knows my rhythm for 2 weeks, once a month for 2 weeks. The devil knows my rhythm for 2 weeks. He chants to the drum in my chest. Die, die, die. He chants to the portal between my thighs. Die, die, die. He chants to the drum in my chest, and I can hear him coming. My bones darken and ache. My sleep thickens to quicksand. The world gets heavier by the hour. I have no fellow man, no fellow, no dream, no mother, no friend. I have him and only him. He slips in through the keyhole behind my ear. He slips in as mist, comes out as piss, puke, blood, and shit, touring the insides of me, a monthly disease, plight of my heart. Die, die, die. Bleed yourself to death. Kill yourself to death. Die, die, die. On my screen, you're fat. Interracial couples are white men married to non-threateningly latte brown women with floofy hair. On my screen, every marriage and jewelry commercial confirms women want diamonds, and men are not entitled to love. On my screen, fat people get slim because they love themselves, not because we've told them to, and told you to, and told me to, and told you to, and told me to, and told them to, and told them and told them and told me and told me and told you and told you and told you and told me and told them and told you and told me to. On my screen, every waking moment corresponds to a medication with a name that could double as a sexual dare. On my screen, you should be on vacation with your family. Bare feet on pale sands. Pale hands on brown lands. Still. On my screen, on my big, fat, flat, made in Taiwan foreign American screen, you are completely incomplete. And you love it when I tell you so. And you love it when it tells you so. Like now, like I'm telling you so, like I'm making fun of you and judging you and commenting on you so. You love it when I tell you so. You have no place, no space without that screen. You have no value, no presence, no love, no light, no hurt, no sorrow, no motherfucking trauma to talk about without that screen. It's your best friend at 3 o'clock in the morning, along with this voice telling you, confirming to you what you already know, but will not say. You are completely incomplete. I love you, fatty. Go to sleep. I always wonder which windows my airplane crossed that belonged to future friends. Had they seen me from their floor mid-thought and knew someone new was coming? I always wonder if my wings and tail were the last thing some farm animal saw before becoming the dinner I was too sad to eat, because where I sat was strange and cold and lonely. I always wonder if the airplane's shadow slid over a sidewalk, a prophecy like an eclipse, mapping out my wanders on unfamiliar streets when I would be looking out for another me. Mother, I imagine you lost at a party. Mother, you lost. How we'll all lose. The difference is most of us scream and swing fists. You insisted on passing through this life the way one passes through a crowded room at a nice party, where you don't know anyone. Shoulder first with a half smile that asks to be let through. Eyes fixed on shoulders and feet, careful of others' toes, making your way through the room. Making your way through the room. Making your way through the room like passing between all those bodies doesn't leave a stain or a scar, like they don't shred your dress. Passing between all those bodies like you don't want to stop and say hello and get to know them and touch them and hug them and feel them nice, the way it looks on TV. You're too scared. You just want to make it to the other side of the room where you can breathe, where there's a balcony, where there's a nice view of star and sea. And you can be by yourself. Mother, you were always by yourself. And I wish it hadn't been that way for you. You stood alone in every photo I can think of and find of you. You never came with me, no matter how much I'd pull at you. It was almost like you never believed you were really invited. Oh, but how I wish you knew that even on days when I was the angriest in my heart and in my mind, I always save a seat for you. Even now, I make a little room for you to come through. My body knows when it loses parts, even when it's asleep. It knows when something is happening behind its conscious back. It screams and mourns and claws at me when it notices something is gone. Someone's been in there and cut something free. Rinsed it loose, sewed wounds clean, it knows. My body knows. And it shrieks with that knowing, like the first cry on the other side of virginity. My body knows when tissue is missing and teeth have been plucked out. It knows when diseases have slipped through sieves and filters. It knows it's dripping blood through pore and vein alike. And even though it's all for the best, it wants to keep everything inside. It's its own death to die. No one else's to take. But there's a thing called time. It will never understand there's no way to save it from time. It has no acceptance like dog or deer, no want to find a forest crevice through which it can cross worlds. There's no way to save it from time, and it doesn't want to know. My body wants to track its parts down, pin them forever and always, rotting and sideways to now. But there's no way to save it from time. It's hope that tickles and nags on the business side of a gun, stays the hand. Though death stays a wrist turn away, maybe in an hour, certainly not tonight, but maybe tomorrow, another day, it'll be better. Petty indulgences, chocolate, wine, the right TV commercial, the song at the supermarket that makes you smile. Pave minutes across the black chasm that you'd otherwise be flying into, to be preserved into a black crevice in Earth's bone zoo. Hope pulls quarters out from behind your ear to pay for what you think will be your final hysterical phone call. Hope shoots water out of all your guns. Hope says, wait. No one else does. Everyone who bothers to tells me I look like a princess from the side, a regal profile, a queen's concerned eye. I gave myself a birthday present when I turned 40 under lockdown. My genealogy from the internet. My genealogy from the internet. Strands of time in my blood join with old discussions that I've had over tarot cards and tea. I'm part African from the people of Mali. I'm part Taino from the island of Boriquen. I'm part Spanish from somewhere in Iberia. I'm part English from somewhere in the rain. I'm a bunch of fallen crowns, kingdoms cheap and loud, that I wear as bracelets to cover self-harm scars from the times I wailed, not knowing who I am. I come from crowns on messy heads, powerful people trying to own each other, cast spells on each other, out-travel, out-sail, out-drown one another. My profile is shaped by hope, I guess. My line hoping they'd someday be somebody, balanced and willing and wise, unbetrayed and undenied. I still have no kingdom and feel no call. My word and my story shine on my time-pummeled head. I hope, holy shit do I hope, somehow this will make sense in the end. I'm waiting for a family that I know will not come. They will not come from the sky, and they will not come from the ground, and they will not come from my fingertips or my belly, and they will not come spoken from my mouth or summoned from my sides. They will not come because I'm so angry at their absence that if they did happen to come from among the trees I forgot I planted, I wouldn't recognize them. It would be as if they never came. So they will not come. I do not like these days, and neither do you. I confuse water with blood. The eye that knows me best does not blink. My roots are becoming wire, and I can't connect, only tangle. I'm angry because I'm lonely, and so are you. We'll never admit these things. We'll never parse them out like the barren lanes of a barren field, dismissing each other's hands as worthy to hold, dismissing our ability to cast a shadow and the obligation that that brings. Where there was earth, there is flatness, and I was promised such a valley. I was promised such a sight. I was sworn such a river. I was told there would be an end to the night. I'm waiting for a family that I know will not come. So I sit next to you, waiting too, with our backs to each other under a fruit-bearing tree. How I miss to laugh. If you went away yellow, it would look like I couldn't contain my glee, and I'm trying to get into heaven, so please, go away white. If you went away blue, then I'd have to explain the bruises, and I'm trying to get into heaven, so please, go away white. If you went away black, there'd still be a stain, and I'm trying to get into heaven, so please, go away white. If you went away red, then you would have won, and I'm trying to get into heaven, so please, go away white. If you went away white, then I'd forget you. So deeply you would have blended in that I'd confuse you with bone. I'd confuse you with bone.